Yes, we are back with Cameron Gaunce, and what a nightmare for Evan Bouchard. Unfortunately, defensive miscues, they aren't out of the norm for him. How big of a problem is this for the Oilers?
It's becoming a problem, especially in the regular season. He's shown in the postseason he can raise his level. Unfortunately, it takes 82 games to get there. And when you're with a team that has been to the Cup final the last 2 years in a row, it's going to wear on the team during the season. It's already hard enough getting through the season, but when you have your top-paid defenseman, the #1 defenseman on the team, one of the best defensemen in the league, making mistakes like that, playing games like that, it's hard on everyone because then everyone has to try to figure out which Bouchard is going to show up tonight. And when there's already questions about how the play is in net, if the play in front of him is going to be that poor, then everyone's going to be on edge. Everyone's going to be worrying not only about goaltending, who's going to show up tonight. It does become a big concern.
Yeah, and with skilled D-men, you sometimes think they really need a steady partner to help them out. But is it a tough ask for the Oilers to worry about that when they just forked over $10.5 million to make Bouchard their highest paid defenseman?
Unfortunately, it's the reality. When you have a defenseman of his skill set, you want him to be able to carry a pair. You want to think, hey, I can put him out there with anyone. I can put him out there with Cameron Gaunce, and we're going to succeed tonight.
Sarah Davis.
Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the case. He needs to be put with someone who's going to help him out and insulate him. So now you're using one of your top defensemen in Ekholm, who could be playing with someone else and helping them out.
Right.
Unfortunately, he has to be used in this sense to help Bouchard out. Now, it's worked for them in the past, but with a bit of a new look back there, without having Klingberg there, Wallman's coming back. You hope that can help. They need to make sure that Bouchard's not taking up too much of the attention on their back end. He needs to do a bit of a better job being that stabilizer by himself. I'm not saying he has to turn into Chris Tanev and be an all-world defending defenseman, but he has to be able to at least hold a pairing steady without needing someone to steer the ship for him.
Yeah, and you really never want to have a night like he did. You hope it's a one-off, but this night was particularly bad timing for Bouchard because Canada's assistant GM Julien Brisebois was in attendance. So is that the kind of game that gets your name scratched off the maybe list and Sharpie, bye-bye?
Unfortunately, I think so. As someone who was constantly being scouted in their careers, whether they were able to make that step, can Cameron go play in the NHL? Every game you were watching, is he doing what he can to make it to the next level? And a lot of times I'd make a mistake or I'd have a night like this, like one time when I played my brother and was -4, including a turnover to him. That's going to get me scratched off list. So when Bouchard's trying to make this team, when he's trying to outplay players, he's good enough to be on an Olympic team. But is he good enough to outplay these other players? When he has nights like that, no, because you don't want to see a night like that from a player you want on Team Canada. Because all these other players, they're not going to be playing like that. So when that happens, you have to scratch him off the list.
Yeah, those mistakes are really, really tough. But there really is no denying Bouchard's skill on offense. Is that something Team Canada would be able to consider, or is there just not enough trust in his defensive game?
I think what you touched on at the end, there's just not enough trust in his defensive game. Canada's already going to have Cale Makar. They're already going to have Shea Theodore. They're already going to have Josh Morrissey. Those defensemen can carry the mail for you offensively. So what can Bouchard do on a night-to-night basis that's going to help Team Canada? Right now, his night-to-night basis, you don't know if you're getting his A, B, or C game. These other defensemen, like a Drew Doughty, like a Noah Dobson this year, like Aaron Ekblad, their B-level game or C-level game, when not everything's going for them, is much better than Evan Bouchard's. Evan Bouchard's C-level game is what we saw last night. And you can't have that. Not every night's going to be your night. Not every night are you going to feel in it. Not every night is every puck going to land flat. Sometimes that puck's going to land and go up on edge without you doing anything. What are you going to do to make it through it? Last night when that happened and went up on edge, Barzal stripped him and went down on a breakaway. That can't happen in the Olympics where the margin of error is so small.
It is,
so without that capability of having a lower ceiling and a lower floor, they need to go with someone who they can trust on a night-to-night basis, and that's just not Evan Bouchard right now.
Right, especially because we need Canada to win gold. And Bouchard, well, he hasn't clicked offensively yet for the Oilers either. 4 games, he's still without a point, but he'll look to change that Saturday in New Jersey.